everyone. Today's routine is going to be all about neck and shoulders, even not necks and shoulders, you've only got one neck. So neck and shoulders. So if they're feeling a little bit tight or restricted perhaps, this little routine will be ideal for you. I am going to use some equipment. This is optional, of course. You can do everything that I do lying on the floor, just on your mat. You don't have to have equipment if you haven't got any. What I'm going to use is a half roller or a round roller. So this is 6 inches in diameter and 35 inches long. The half roller is 35 inches long, but obviously only 3 inches diameter because it's half of the big one. I've also got some little weights today, 1 kilo hand weights and half a kilo weighted balls. So it's giving the option for whatever you want to do. If you haven't got any hand weights to hand, you can make your own with either just using a couple of cans of baked beans, which would be about the same weight as the weighted balls, just the same to hold, or you can make your own weights with bags of rice or bags of sugar. Then you can make it to whatever weight you want, your choice. Obviously, the heavier the weight, the harder it's going to be. So if you do struggle a little bit with your shoulders, do keep your resistance, do keep your weights lightish to make it more manageable. What you certainly don't want to do is to make them worse. So we're aiming to loosen up the shoulders, get some more movement into the neck area, but not aggravate it or make it tighter. So if you have too heavy weights, obviously it can have a detrimental effect and make everything tighten up. So you want to try and find that happy medium. So we're going to start lying on your mat into base position, shoulders back and down, legs bent with your feet flat on the floor. And just a quick check to make sure into neutral. We're going to start with some gentle warm-up exercises, starting around the neck and using the head. But if you are inclined to perhaps vertigo or labyrinthitis, you might not want to do too much of this or even at all. You might want to just miss the head bit out and just concentrate on the neck and shoulders. So you don't want to be moving your head around too much. So keeping that neutral position, engaging your tummy muscles, just gently let your head roll to one side. Now don't actually turn the head, just let it roll. So you've got that lump, the back of your head resting on the mat, and just gently let the head roll to where it wants to go. So you're not trying to turn it, you're just rolling it gently. Now mine's quite tight on the right today, for whatever reason. So going quite nicely to the left, back to the centre, and then to the right. We're going to now move into what's called a chin tuck. So pressing your chin down towards your chest. I can't do this and talk. Keep the head on the floor. So you just breathe out and push down. And breathe in, release. So still keeping that lump at the back of your head, your occiput, or your bump of knowledge on the mat. And just press the chest down, but try not to compress into your throat. And release. So what you're trying to do is to lengthen the muscles at the back of your neck. And again, push down. And release. Hold it for 3 or 4 seconds so you can feel it. Let's do it one more time. Push down. And release. Okay, then just let your head roll from side to side. Breathing out as you roll. Breathing in as you draw back. And again. Okay, now coming back to the center, this time still keeping your occiput resting on the mat. I want you to focus on the tip of your nose and just rotate your head as if drawing a circle on the ceiling with your tip of the nose, about the size of a penny. So it's not a massive circle. Keep it quite small and controlled. Now you might hear a little bit of creaking and crackling going on at the base of your skull. That's okay. It's just all these muscles starting to move and change in direction. Keeping the head on the floor, don't let it lift because we want these muscles to be relaxed. If you lift your head, obviously they'll go into contraction. We want them nice and soft and relaxed to try and loosen them up as much as possible. Okay, come back to the center, repeat the rolls to the side. So taking the head over, that's going much further this time. Center, other side. Just remember, don't actually move your head by lifting it and placing it. Just let it roll. And once more to each side. These are really nice and relaxing. and back. Now we're going to go back to the rotation. This time I want to spiral out, make the circle bigger. So again, focusing on the tip of your nose, draw your penny-sized circle, nice and slowly, and then gradually let that circle get bigger and bigger. So you're starting to make your head move as much as you can, preferably keeping the circle round, but you might find it starts to become a little bit more petal shaped or hexagonal shaped. And then obviously reverse it. Start with the big circle. So just be careful if you are prone to vertigo, because obviously this is going to affect the ears and the fluid within your ears. So you might not want to do this one. Just stick to the more gentler ones, spiraling that circle gradually back in. Aim for roughly 10 circles in each direction. And then you'll come back gently as that spiral brings you back to your penny-sized circle in the middle. Okay, have a quick check that your shoulders are still flat to the mat and you're in neutral, and let your head gently roll. Yeah, it's going much further this time, and to the other side. Even on the tight side, it's got a little bit more range of movement. Remember, don't actually lift the head in place, let it roll gently. Okay, come back to the center. Now, if you have got a bit of tightness or restriction, I have a little bit on the right. If you turn the head to the tighter side, then put your opposite hand on the side of your face, and then create a bit of tension, pushing your head into your hand. Keep the pressure there, and then release it. Then repeat your rolls from side to side. Now you should find, oh yeah, that's much better, that you are a little bit more mobile in your neck. I'm going to do it again. So turn the head to the tight side, place your hand on the side of your face, try and push into your hand as you press gently against the side of your face. Hold it, breathe, and then release it. So it doesn't have to be for very long. 3 or 4 seconds is ample. Yeah, much looser that time. Excellent. That feels good. Okay, so let's move down a little bit into the shoulders. So keeping your shoulders flattened down, keeping the back of the head on the mat, arms down by your side. So I'm going to bring the arms up in front and just do some arm movements by bringing the hands back to your hips, arms turning in towards the midline and then over your head. Now as they go over your head, this is where your whole body will want to change position. So keep your shoulder blades flat, move slowly. Don't necessarily try to get your hands to the mat, but just watch you're not arching through that thoracic spine. So you're going to use the rib cage to press into the floor, engaging these upper abdominal muscles to keep the neutral position. So we don't want to create a rocking sensation through the spine. We want to keep the body still. And you'll find when, by the time you get to about number 4 or number 5, that it's getting a little bit easier. You can get your arms right over your head. Excellent. Let's do it once more. And then back up. Okay, let's turn it into backstroke. So one hand is going to go over, one hand is going to go down to the hip, and then bring it back up and change. Still trying to focus on keeping your shoulders as level as possible. So you may well be aware that things want to hitch and drop now. Your shoulder wants to lift when the arm goes over your head. The other one wants to drop. Your rib cage wants to have a little twist. Try and keep it as still as you can, not easy. Keep those shoulder blades as flat to the mat as possible. Now you might not get your hand to the floor, so you might only get to there, that's okay. And back up, let's add a little bit more. So as you take your arms down, turn the palms to the ceiling. So we're going to open up underneath the armpit and into the front of the shoulder with that little movement. Keep your chin tucked in the whole time. And it's surprisingly warm. This does get all the blood flowing and it will warm you up. Make sure you're not lying in a draft though. And back up. Excellent. So that's got the arms nicely warmed up. Great. Now just pop your hands down by your sides. We're just going to do a little bit of rotation to warm up your waist and your spine a little bit more. So we are going to do a little bit on your side. So rest your hands either down by your sides or just roll them over so the palms face up. So you're flattening your shoulder blades to the mat. And bring your feet and knees together. Keep your ribs down, so use your tummy, press your ribs into the mat and just roll your knees gently to one side. Allowing the hip to lift, but not your rib cage. And then back to the center. And repeat to the other side. So it's just getting a little bit of movement into your spine. Nice and slowly, squeeze your legs together. You can turn the head the opposite way, so creating more of a spiral. And back to the center, so we're getting that whole spiraling movement, although it is quite small, into your spine and into the muscles around the body. Excellent. So that should be feeling quite nice on the neck and shoulders. Oh, quite tickly nose. Okay, one more. And then come back to the center. Excellent. Now I'm going to get you just to roll onto your side and bring your arms out in front. Now you can have something to put your head on if you want to, but try not to, because we're trying to loosen up the neck. But if you want to, you could use the roller. So I'm going to just pop the half roller under there just to give you an idea. I will take it out in a minute. So you've stacked all your joints, arms, shoulders, hips, knees and ankles. Keep your knees tight together and press them into the floor. So what we're going to do is we're going to slowly bring your hand up that inner arm as you start to push your shoulder back. Bring the arm up and over and press your elbow to the floor, turning the head the opposite way, and then slide it back. But try and keep your hips and knees still. I know I moved a little bit there, so I'm just going to press down a little bit more. Keep the waist moving and the upper body. So you're just trying to press your elbow to the floor to open up a little bit of the chest. Let's do one more and then we're going to change it. So just drawing that arm up, pressing the elbow back, and then bring it back. Okay, now let's add the legs. So we're going to try and roll to the other side. So make sure you're on the front edge of your mat. So we're going to lift the arm this time. At the same time, lift your knee, reach up and over. So you come to the floor and then bring the other one up. So you're actually rolling over to the other side. And then repeat. So bringing it back. And bring the arm back as you roll over. Excellent. Up you go. Take the knee with it. And take the arm over. Takes you over into that roll. And slowly back. Well done. Let's push the roller away, or your block or cushion, whatever you might have on your head. And see if you can do the same thing, letting the head roll. The knee and the arm work together as you take them right the way over. Give yourself plenty of room as you do this. Try and keep away from the furniture. Even do it on the lawn, if the sun's shining where you are. It is absolutely glorious here today. So would love to do this on the lawn, in the garden. So it's got a nice bit of sunshine. Okay, and slowly back up. Brilliant. Now I'm just going to go over onto the other side and just do that little one just to work the waist, pressing the hips into the mat. So keep your hand on your inner arm, bring it up and over, but turn the head. So you're opening up a little bit more into the other side of the neck. And again, so just 3 times. And slide it back. Excellent. Okay, now coming back onto your back, I'm actually going to go onto a roller now. I'm going to use the big one. It's up to you. They are optional. You can just lie on the floor. And I'm going to use the pink weights. I'm going to see how it feels, because I'm a wee bit tight on the right side, so I might just think, no, actually that's too much. Just check you've got plenty of space. And I might go to the half kilo weighted balls. So when you're on your roller, if you're using one, make sure the head's at one end, tailbone at the other, and that your spine lies down the length of the roller. Feet hip width distance apart, check you're in neutral. So the only part of your body connecting with the roller will be your sacrum, the flat bit at the bottom of your spine, your thoracic spine and the back of your head. And check you're in neutral. You may well need a firm bit of pressure through your feet, especially if you've got a round roller, because it can be a bit wobbly. Now obviously if you haven't got a roller, you can't do the next bit. If you have got a round roller, just pop your hands on the floor and just have a little gentle roll from side to side. So you're rolling from the spine into the muscles down each side of your spine. So mainly trying to focus on the rhomboids. Now these are the muscles from your spine towards underneath your shoulder blades. And they can get very, very tight. They go sort of up at an angle away from your spine, up towards the shoulders, and can affect the movement of your neck, your shoulders, and your arms. So it's quite nice just to massage them. You do see some routines, they'll get you to do it on balls. It's not nice using those little firm balls. This is a little more gentler. And it should feel, oh yeah, getting much more range of movement into my neck. Okay, so now I'm going to use the little weights. I'm going to try and keep the roller still and take the arms up in front. So we're going to open the chest up a little bit more. Now one reason why I've gone onto the bigger roller is because as I open the arms, I can go wide. So I'm going right down to the floor, hold, and then float them back up in front. Firm pressure through both feet the whole time. Now I can really feel that pinching into the rhomboids because I'm on a roller and a little bit higher. The hands are going behind me. If you haven't got a roller, don't worry, you could find something long and thin to lie on, like a rolled up towel. Maybe you have a bolster in the house. What else could you use? A bench in the garden, if you've got one of those nice park bench type garden seats, which doesn't have a back, so you could lie on that. If you're lucky enough to have one of the weights benches, you could do it on that. But what I'm trying to get is that the arms are going past the hips, so you're opening up the front of the chest. So if you're tight in the front of the chest, it affects the shoulders across the back, because if pulling the muscles are tight, they're going to pull the shoulders forward, which creates discomfort and pain across the top of your shoulders. Oh, that's so good. Just hold that position. Lengthen and reach the arms out to each side of the room. So not locking out your elbows, but just opening up. Oh, and then slowly come back up. Excellent. Let's do some circles. So the arms are going to go over the head. Circle all the way around. Tempting to arch your spine, but try not to. And then come back up and over. Be very aware of whether these weights are manageable. If your arms start to get a little bit shaky, that's telling you that's enough. So either go to lighter weights or put the weights down. These are just about right, although I really know I'm doing it. I'm really tight in the front here today. And back up. And change direction. So slowly down and round. Don't rush them. Do it nice and slowly. When you move slowly, you work into the deep muscles. When you work quickly, it's purely the superficial, your surface muscles. We want to get deep into the muscles. We want to feel that chest being opened. And back up. Keep going. If you like a challenge, you could do this with your feet together if you are on a roller, as it does challenge your balance, which will make your core muscles work more. You need to use them to help you with the balance. And slowly back up. Excellent. Now we're going to do open windows. So you turn the palms to the ceiling. Again, you can do this lying on the floor, lying on a roller, half roller, round roller, your choice. Start with your arms straight up in front. Try and keep your roller still. bend your elbows. Now you're aiming to get your elbows to the floor. Now I know for a fact, oh yes I can, that I've just got them on the floor with the brown roller, and then take them back. You're aiming to rest them on the floor, but just try and twist them back towards the floor. So you want the right angle at the armpit, right angle at the elbow. Lift back up and then reach back up. Now this really opens up the front of your chest. So I can feel it if I put that down right round here. So it's stretching your pectoral muscles. And up. Now I would aim to do probably about 12 to 15 repetitions with this, because it takes time for those muscles to give, particularly if you've been doing a lot of working at home over the computer or sitting at the desk. Perhaps you've been playing computer games or watching a lot of telly, sitting on the settee. So they possibly have tightened up a wee bit. Even hold it perhaps for a couple of seconds as you take your arms back. So try and get them to the floor if you can, but not to the point of cheating by bringing your hands into your ears or extending your arms out. So you want to get the right angle there and then back. Oh, touching the floor both sides now, although the elbow is slightly lifted. I think that's about 7, so we'll just keep going for another 5 or 6. Okay, watch the balance. Don't be tempted to arch your spine. Make sure you can feel your sacrum and your thoracic spine in contact with the roller. If you're not on a roller, make sure you can feel that the rib cage is on the floor. And don't let it arch. Up away. Quite good to do in front of a mirror, but once you put your arms back, don't be frightened to turn your head and have a look. See if your arms are parallel and that you're not bringing the hands in towards your ears. Okay, and back up. Well done. I've lost count as usual. Let's just do one more. And lift and back up. Excellent. Just pop your weights down to the side and roll down the side of the roller. If you want to, you can do a bit of leg work there, but as I say, I'm just concentrating on shoulders today. Now I'm going to try and make your circle much bigger. So we're going to do what's called a chalk circle. Now I do need a little bit of room for this, so I'm going to get rid of everything. Make sure you've got plenty of space around you. Then come back onto your side, legs bent, knees bent. So a lot of people love this exercise, a lot of people don't. It's a bit like Marmite. You either love it or hate it. I do quite enjoy it. So you've stacked everything, wrists, elbows, shoulders, hips, knees and ankles. Keep your knees together and your hips still, and just circle your top arm round above your head as close to the floor as possible. If you've done all those prep exercises, you should find, oh, I've got enough room, that you can keep your hand on the floor all the way around. Don't force it, however. So if you have got restriction or tightness in that shoulder, just work within your comfort range. Try and keep your knees together and your hips still. Letting the head roll. So you look to the ceiling. Don't try and keep looking in front of you as you take the arm behind, because that's not nice on your neck. And just do it nice and slowly. So it's called a chalk circle because imagine you're drawing a circle with a piece of chalk around yourself on the floor. But looking for the stretch up and over the hip and round again. Try not to bend your elbow, keep the arm straight. Now if you get to there and you think, oh no, I can't, just lift your arm, take it over the slight restriction that is there in your shoulder. Okay, roughly 5, and then go back the other way. So the hand goes over the hip, let the weight of it pull you back, but don't lift the knees, and round you go. Bring it all the way back, and bring them together. Up and over, and circle around. Nice and slowly, keeping it under control. Letting the head roll, look to the ceiling. Use your tummy to keep the knees tight together and your hips still. Okay, 2 more. Let the head roll. And all the way around. You could even, last one, try and follow the hand with your eyes. So as it goes round, catch it, lift the chin slightly, look up, but again, don't arch the spine, and bring your hands back. Excellent, love that. Let's do the other side. So I'm just going to swap into the mat. Don't have a lot of room in here, so I'm going to get rid of everything. That's it. Well down your mat. Again, make sure plenty of room. Stacking the joints. You might need a block for one side. I have left shoulders bigger than my right shoulder, so I find it's much more comfortable this side. You might need a block. Keep your hips still and your knees together, and off you go again. Slowly round. Again, letting the head roll, move from the waist, knees tight together, and bring your hand back. You may get a little bit of movement with your legs. A little bit's okay, but as long as you're using your core and trying very hard to push your knees down, that's okay. If you've got someone who's willing and obliging in the house, you could get them to sit on your knees so that you get a little bit more stretch and reach as you circle that arm all the way around. It's lovely. Following the hand with your eyes if you can see it, but keeping the head on the floor, so don't lift the head to follow the hand, just lift your eyes. So don't lift the head off the floor, especially when it comes down to the hip. Excellent, and changing direction. So 4 to 5 repetitions is sufficient, but try and take it slowly. So with Pilates, we're aiming for quality, not quantity, because if you do too many, you start to get tired and then your concentration goes, your precision becomes poor, and you don't get the benefit. So you're better to do 3 or 4 excellent exercises, being very precise, then keep going and doing lots and lots that start to get a little bit tatty. So be precise with your movements. And move slowly. So still pressing the knees firmly into the mat and slowly back around. And back together. Oh, nicely warmed up. Excellent, well done. Okay, roll onto your back and stretch. So finishing off with a lovely big stretch. Take your arms over your head, pull up your toes, push your back into the floor. So we have stretched out the upper body quite well with that. All the muscles, your trapezius, your lats, your pecs on the front of the body, as well as still using your abdominals. And then of course have your few minutes of relaxation. Feel free to add another routine where you can do some leg exercises. Perhaps you could move into some of the powerhouse exercises from there. But if your neck is feeling a bit tight, be gentle with that. You might want to miss out the abdominal curls. Hope that has made your neck feel a little bit easier, and your shoulders. Let's see what mine like. Oh yeah, that's much better. A lot looser. We have been painting the studio through lockdown, so that's the reason why I'm a little bit stiff. And hopefully you'll all get to see when we get back to normal. Take care everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye now.